the equation. So we have to replace the x with -1 plus root 5i, which means we're going to need x cubed, x squared, and x. So this is the x squared. So we square this, we get 1 minus 2 root 5i plus 5i squared. I squared is -1, so actually it's just -5. 1 minus 5 is -4. So for x cubed, you can use x squared times x. The x squared is this guy, the x is this, so we multiply, we get this, and then we open up the brackets, -4 times -1, and -4 times root 5i minus root 5i, multiply 2 root 5i, multiply minus 2 times 5, which is 10, minus 10 I squared. Again, I squared is -1, so minus 1 we get plus, so plus 10 plus 4 we get 14. So we have x squared, x cubed, we can plug in. So we replace the x and the x cubed and the x squared. So we replace everything, and then we open up the brackets, times 2 times 2, and then times 6 times 6. And when we simplify, 28 minus 4 minus 6 minus 18, there'll be 0, and -4 minus 2 plus 6, there'll be also 0. So that proves that x is a root. -1 plus root 5i is a root. Next step is to find the other roots. So from the previous part, we know that it is a root, which means the conjugate. So conjugate means same real part, the opposite imaginary part. This is also a root, complex conjugate. And since -1 plus root 5i is a root, that means x minus the root, so x minus this is a factor. Same thing with the complex conjugate, x minus this is a factor. So we multiply the two linear complex factors. So from these two we multiply, we get the real quadratic factor. So just open up the brackets. This is plus, this is minus, this is plus, this is plus, and this is actually x plus 1 minus root 5i, x plus 1 plus root 5i, the difference of two squares. We get x squared minus a squared minus b squared form, basically. So we square this and we square this, and then we subtract. So after we open up the brackets, this is what we get, and this becomes 5i squared. Again, I squared is -1, so this is actually plus 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. So after we get the quadratic factor, we do polynomial long division. This is the original cubic polynomial. We divide by the quadratic factor. So we need to multiply this x squared by something to get exactly 2x cubed. So we gotta multiply by 2x. So 2x times x squared to get 2x cubed. 2x times 2x we get 4x squared. 2x times 6 we get 12x. And then we subtract. And if we're doing it right, we should cancel out the first term. And this is 1 minus 4, so it's -3. And we have 6 minus 12, which is -6. And then we drop the next term. Okay, so after we get the result of the subtraction here, we have to decide. We have to multiply x squared by what to get -3x squared. And the answer is we have to multiply by -3. So we use -3 times x squared, we get -3x squared. -3 times 2x, we get -6x. -3 times 6, we get -18. And then we subtract. So if we're doing it right, -3 minus -3, they cancel out. And actually they all cancel out. So we have only 0, and that makes sense because factor means the remainder is 0. So after we do long division, we get the real linear factor. Now since 2x minus 3 is a factor, we can just solve this equals 0, and we get the root, which is 3/2. So in conclusion, the other roots are this from the complex conjugate and this from the linear factor. Alright, I'll see you again next time.